the Gathering webinar. Sorry, I got to get my arm further away. July 8th. I don't have my reading glasses on. This quarantine has been bad for me. So July 8th, 2020, we are spread out all throughout the preschool children's building. Here's the great thing. So far tonight, we have all moved to a different location, I think even from where we plan to be. So, yeah, Kelly's got the best seat in the house because she's in a room that's like 112 degrees.
Yep.
So,
but the breeze isn't too bad.
Hey, come on. It's those fans. We brought box fans. We thought three box fans out tonight.
Out here, you tucked them back in.
Hey, let's thank our, again, our sponsor tonight, Dr. Pepper, Staff 1985, and the Children's Ministry for leaving the door unlocked where the refrigerator is so I could steal their stuff. David Butts, I may give you some Dr. Pepper at some date later to pay you back for everything I've taken on this. So I at least owe you 2, plus the other like 47 I've had over the last 4 months when I sneak in this building too. So anyway, all right, Kelly, you up tonight?
I got a question for you.
Hey, and for all of you out there watching right now, I want you to know, like, okay, I see those names, all of you watching with us live, and then we're recording. For some of you that aren't live, we're recording it, so we'll be able to share it. Chelsea and I do not know the question of the night, so just want you to know we're oh yeah, and
a very genuine reaction.
Yeah.
Mention our other sponsor, Dr. Pepper and Texas Legends basketball. So
yes,
thank you, Kyle, and Texas Legends. So,
for sure.
I appreciate that. It's pretty cool. Most youth ministries don't have professional basketball teams sponsoring them.
Right.
But we do. So, all right, Kelly, sorry I interrupted.
No, you're good. This question comes after I was kind of inspired last week with my confession of the stealing of the caramel.
Oh.
You know, it was just kind of one of those things I'd never really said it out loud before. So my question for you tonight is, what is a guilty confession that this guilt you've been carrying maybe for years that you've just never confessed and verbalized, that just might be good to get off your chest? So for instance, I've got 2. One, I don't always put my grocery cart back in the grocery cart.
McDaniel.
I have to say this. I just need to get that off my chest. Sometimes it's just too far of a walk in the heat, and I got too many kids to have to make that walk. So I just leave it. And if it blows away, it blows away. Don't judge.
Did I ever tell you about the time my car got totaled in a parking lot by a runaway cart?
No.
Okay, that never happened.
Costco parking lot. It might have been my car.
Wow.
I'm just
3 weeks ago. I wish something totaled my truck. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, second one. I've seen The Princess Bride in bits and pieces. I didn't really care for it. It's not really.
That is blasphemy.
Thank you, Kelly.
I just feel better getting that off my chest. I just feel like y'all need to know this, working with me. So,
Man.
yeah.
Hats off to you, Kelly. Thank you. I thought it was just me. Serious.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, that's who you are. All right.
Wow. You thought you knew her all these years, Chelsea. Where do we go from here? Well, thanks. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. I know y'all got to have something just as good. Come on now.
Drop the mic, Kelly.
Yeah.
Wow.
I gotta think about that.
Okay, I've kind of got one. We got a new puppy when I was, I think I was in kindergarten. His name was Fred. He was a basset hound, and he replaced Dinky, our previous basset hound, who disappeared, which I probably need to ask my dad, did he really disappear?
Yep.
You know, but anyway, he disappeared. So I don't know if if Dad buried him before we got home or whatever. For whatever reason, we had this little concrete cat in our house, like at the end of our TV, back when you had, the TV was the furniture.
Mm-hmm.
There's this little concrete cat thing. It was like curled up sleeping, like a little kitten, like a figurine kind of deal, but you put it on the floor. I don't know why he had it because I hate cats and everybody in my family hates cats. Sorry if you like cats, but sorry that you like cats, I guess is what I should say. But I took a
Is
hammer.
that the confession that you just don't like cats? Is that what this
Yeah,
is?
okay. But I don't feel guilty about that at all. But when I was like in kindergarten, we hadn't had the dog long, and I accidentally sort of knocked the cat's ear off with a hammer. And I told my parents that I saw the dog chew it off. And I assumed like then I thought I pulled it off. But then I remember like later, years and years later, something coming up. I'm like, hey, remember when the dog chewed that concrete ear off of that cat? Like they pointed at the cat, and I was like, so I've never told my mother, and now like she'll, just after my mom's stroke, like she'll never know. So I could tell her now, and she wouldn't. Like I feel like I probably need to tell her that next time I can get in the nursing home and see her. But
It might be good to get that off your chest.
yeah,
Kurt.
yeah.
Do some.
Like, Mom, I need to tell you something. She'll be like,
Yeah, I think, well, okay. Since Kelly, you talked about not liking something that everybody likes. I feel like a bad American sometimes because I don't like hamburgers or hot dogs. Like, if it's the only option, sometimes I won't eat. Like at our pool parties, like I usually don't eat all like any Wednesdays through the summer.
Are you serious?
How have I never known?
Yeah, how long have we known you now?
When I was pregnant, I might have been hungry enough just to do it, but
We met you over 5 years ago, and I had no earthly idea.
yeah, I think the first week I was working here, you and Caleb wanted to get lunch at QT and get some roller hot dogs, and I was like, oh no. Also, the first week, David Butt fried bologna.
Yeah, we made lunch.
And I was like, where am I? What is this place?
We're gonna have to
That's
put
so
that on
funny
job
because-
applications just so that we could start weeding candidates out.
Yeah, if we're able to hire this new youth ministry associate that we started working on a few months ago, that'll definitely be on the question.
Hot dogs are a staple of just everything we do. Like
I know.
that sums up the food in
I'd
youth
rather have
ministry.
a hamburger than probably anything in the world at any day. Like I could have 3 meals a day, every day of the year. I don't think I would ever get sick of it.
And Whataburger, like Chelsea, that hurts
That is
almost.
un-American.
They don't even have good salads at Whataburger. I'm sorry.
Holy cow! Ah, wow!
I mean,
it's a good
Tell
thing there
us
are
how you
two
really
locked
feel,
doors
Chelsea.
keeping you two apart.
The breakfast is really good.
Wow.
I will say they don't have good salads, but
They don't.
it's Whataburger. Who wants a salad at Whataburger anyway?
You don't go for the salad.
It's true. That's true.
Wow. Well, holy cow! I don't really even know where to go from here.
Yeah. How do you
Talk about
turn
prayer.
to a spiritual lesson, Kurt?
I feel like there's somewhere in Scripture we need to go to condemn our sister
Come on,
for,
y'all.
for her sin. Yeah. Good golly. Well,
I'm glad I got it off my chest.
It's so bad.
strange
I
turn.
mean, Chelsea made me look good. Like I don't like
Yeah.
that's nothing. My grocery cart is
I
nothing.
always put the carts back. Always.
Thank you. Me too. And I put other people's cards back usually too. Probably yours, Kelly.
That's right.
It's at Costco, probably.
That's right. All right. Nobody. Hey, those of you watching, I'm waiting. No, you're not throwing any Q&A out. So I'm watching. We're watching the chat. Know that's happening. So I mean, Fred, let's check. Maybe everyone may have left now that happened.
Well,
Well, hey, here's the good thing. Jesus is still on his throne. And now everything else not everything, but some things in my life may have just really got thrown off there. But
I do want you to note where that hand is on the clock, Kurt.
that's, so I'm trying to watch that.
That-
Okay, right there. Right. Sorry. I feel like a dentist, trying to use the mirror.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. There we go. All right. All right. Wow. Kelly, man, who knew what you were bringing tonight? I don't know what to do.
Yeah, just wanted to surprise y'all, I had something good.
Wow. Well, I don't know where to go from here. Chelsea, I guess we hand it over to you. Wow. Kelly, good thing we didn't know that was coming.
Okay, we need some announcements.
We need some. How do you recover from that?
While we're confessing our guilt, we can also confess our racism, and that's what we're reading about in book club. It's been very convicting in the best sense of the word. So if you are interested in joining book club, it's still going on. Mondays and Tuesdays, junior high is going to discuss the end of chapter 6 and chapter 7 of The Color of Compromise, and high school will be discussing, is it 7 and 8? The reading schedule is at FBC.
I think it's 7.
Book club. Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So conversations have been so good. We love having all your input. We've had new people in each week, so don't feel like it'd be weird to just hop in now. If you need a copy of the book, let me know. I'd be happy to share my ebook version with you. And yeah, if that's the issue, we're happy to take care of you. But that's Monday and Tuesday at 3:30 on Zoom. And aside from that, we are really just focusing on Wednesdays and Sundays right now, trying to really prioritize our Bible study and community times. And so hopefully soon we will get back to our more social activities, but we want to just be just aware and cautious and caring for the people in our lives that might be higher risk. So that's what we got going on.
Well, hey, still watching the Q&A, the questions. Those of you watching, if y'all want to, feel free to send in questions. We're keeping an eye out on that. So just anytime, y'all jump on in. Everybody out there, come on. So, okay, well, just keep yourselves over there and just keep watching. But, well, hey, if you let's jump into John 17, and just we're going to be brief tonight. Really, if you were with us last week, we kind of worked through really up through the first 11 verses of the chapter, kind of beginning really in verse 6, but just took several spots that we kind of used as points that we wanted to pray through and pray over. And so as maybe you do, maybe you don't know, we were just downstairs with students out in the courtyard. I will say it is a balmy, hot time of year. Obviously, it's weird. You would almost think it were like July or something. It's crazy hot. And so I will say you may have made the right choice by being at home and being on your computer or on your device tonight. But we got through verse 11 last week, and so I do want us to go back and just read beginning in verse 6 and kind of read through. Let's go through. We'll just go through verse 13. So let me read that with us, or read that with you, and then a couple of things that we want to just ask you to pray about and pray for tonight. And then we're going to leave that with you. And so just ask you to continue to point into that this week and over these next few days. But beginning in John 17, the Gospel of John, verse 6 of chapter 17 says this: I have revealed you to those whom you gave me out of the world. They were yours. You gave them to me, and they have opened your word. Now they know that everything you have given me comes from you. For I gave them the words you gave me, and they accepted them. And they knew with certainty that I came from you, and they believed that you sent me. I pray for them. I'm not praying for the world, but for those you've given me, for they are yours. All I have is yours, and all you have is mine, and glory has come to me through them. I will remain in the world no longer, but they are still in the world, and I am coming to you. Holy Father, protect them by the power of your name. This is where we stopped last week. We said at verse 11, another way that the New Living says, and keep them and care for them, like this personal, just rich, pointed relationship we can have with Jesus. And he says, so that they may be one as we are one. In verse 12, while I was with them, I protected them and I kept them safe by that name that you gave me. None has been lost except the one doomed for destruction, so that Scripture would be fulfilled. In verse 13, I'm coming to you now, but I say these things while I am still in the world, so that they may have the full measure of my joy within them. And again, really two things tonight as we look at verse 11, the second part, kind of the end of verse 11, that last statement, so that they may be one as we are one. As we told students earlier, like, this is Jesus pointing to the Trinity and pointing to the unity and the harmony of the Trinity. And let's just be honest, in the world we're living in right now, there are very few places that we could look at and say, oh, there's clear unity and harmony, just going on in our society. Just between all of the unrest, rightfully so, as we look at just the racial injustices that are happening and have happened for 400 years in our nation. You look at the political climate within our country right now. You bring in COVID-19 and you kind of, seed all that inside of a pandemic that is happening globally. And now in a season where we kind of thought, man, we were doing well, we began to reopen and this thing takes off again. It's been pretty crazy. And so this idea of unity, I love that Jesus points back to the Trinity. Again, another way that one of the other translations says this, so that they will be united just as we are. And Jesus referring to we as the Trinity, as the Godhead. And so this unique unity, what we've asked students tonight to pray for, what I ask you to be praying for tonight, or whenever you see this and throughout this week, is just for unity. We've prayed tonight for unity within our church. What an interesting season. We have not gathered on our campus. I believe it was March 7th, somewhere around there, March 7th, March 8th. I don't know, somewhere. Well, I can tell you because March 15th. March 8th was the last time we were all together. March 15th was the first time we worshiped strictly online. And I say that because we're still kind of stopped in time here in the children's ministry workroom because their March, April, and May calendars are up. There's all kinds of stuff around here from this spring. It's so odd when you're in our building because so much, it's just like time has stood still. And so here we are in the midst of all that's happening, and our church is not gathered in over 4 months physically on our campus. Now, there are now some meetings going on, some things happening, youth ministry, still gathering once a week, this is our, I think, 4th week maybe. But I would ask you tonight, pray for our church, pray for unity among this body of believers. For First Baptist Arlington, pray for our church, pray for unity within our church, and pray for harmony. As you can imagine, there are a lot of different ideas. There's a lot of different opinions about what needs to happen in our lives, in our schools, in our homes, and in our church. But pray that even within that those kind of different trains of thought, that we would continue to be united. I've always loved that about our church. I'm telling you, there is such a diverse community here in our church, particularly when you think of thought and even politics. I've never been in a church probably politically more diverse than this, and I love that because we see this unity and harmony among believers. So be praying for our church, be praying for our youth ministry, and then would you pray for your family, just that there would be unity and peace in your family. Then the second thing is we look down at verse 13. Verse 13 says this, so that they may have the full measure of my joy within them. And Jesus speaks this joy. You jump back over in John 15:11. He speaks of just giving us this joy that transcends everything. I would say it's a leveling joy in our lives. No matter the circumstance, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of lives, joy that comes from Jesus is a leveling kind of joy. That it transcends all that. And it allows us to be just a little more level, a lot more level really, because it's not happiness. It's not happiness maybe that comes in circumstance or win or disappointment or anxiety that comes in the challenges and loss. This is joy that just carries through everything that God alone can give us, that Jesus alone can give us. And so I'd ask you just to be praying for this, that God would give you and God would give your family the full measure of his joy within their lives, that God would fill us with joy. And then this, that God would sustain that joy in us, and that God would allow us to live in that joy in a way that it would just level us out every day, no matter what comes, no matter what happens this week. And as we continue to say, like, we can't plan more than about 2 weeks out right now. It feels like everything is changing so quickly at times, or there's at least such uncertainty that creates all kinds of challenges. But here's the thing: we know that Jesus is still on his throne, whether you like hot dogs and hamburgers, or whether you like the Princess Bride, or whether you lied about the cat's ear, like whatever's happening, like Jesus, we joke about that, but Jesus, seriously, Jesus is still on his throne. And Jesus is the one that can provide joy and hope and peace throughout whatever circumstance in this life. And so that's how I would ask you to pray this week. And so just thanks, those of you who are on tonight, thanks for joining us. Thanks for those of you that are watching later on. We're glad that you've jumped on and just kind of hung out with us on a Wednesday night. So Chelsea, would you mind just praying over us? And we'll get out of here.
Absolutely. Okay. Father God, thank you so much for the ways that you've been present, and God, for being on your throne, no matter what kind of chaos we are facing here. So I just want to echo these things that Kurt has brought before us, Lord, that we would be unified, even in places that we may disagree or have different perspectives. Father, I pray that we'd be unified through the Spirit of Christ and our purpose in living for him. So Lord, work individually in our hearts and work communally, even as we're apart. God, for us as a youth ministry and us as a church, that we would love each other well. And Father, I also do pray that your joy would sustain us. There's a lot of uncertainty with school and sickness and jobs and God, just so many things that really do have huge impacts. So Father, I do pray that you, above all else, would be the source of our joy, that our circumstances would be irrelevant to just our emotional health being in you, Lord. We just praise you that you are able to be that steadying force in our lives and in our church. We pray this all in the powerful name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Awesome. Thanks, Chelsea. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, those of you that joined us tonight. Thanks for getting on with us. We were glad to have you. Excited you were here. Those of you who came tonight to the, what do you call that? The courtyard. It was good to see you. So, hey, happy July 8th, y'all. And now let's all, hey, I'll buy the hamburgers on our way home, right? Okay.
Yes.
So Jen,
Everybody in my truck, I'll buy hamburgers. Oh, good. Okay, awesome. I get 2 then. All right. All right, Ellen.
That's great.
Bye.
Awesome. Bye.
Okay, well, that was interesting.